This video is intended purely to communicate information in accordance with the right of free speech.
Any advice given is a suggestion, and anyone seeking such advice should consult a competent professional.
All statements made in this video are my own honest opinion, and they do not represent any other person or body. As such, sharing matters covered in this video is in public interest.
Hi, fancy meeting you here in this little old place. I'm Tish, and this is Echo Echo. I'm looking straight at my drink right now. Now, if you do ever see, this is a Starbucks cup, but I bought it ages ago. Okay, I've got a couple. I'm trying to be distracted while the world goes to hell. Yeah, I'm feeling bad, y'all. Feeling real bad. And I was on DC's stream earlier. That was really good. That was a very no politics zone, watching Bomb Party. It was good. And yeah, now I am going to film a video because that's useful for things. Tomorrow I'm going to be on a Greens call because the Green Party in Australia is still is good, gaining momentum. And while I was stressing out about the American election, the Queensland election happened and the Conservatives won. We're Florida, basically. So I'm going to try and do some more advocacy work, especially around our media, because we cannot turn into America. Yeah. So we're looking at Lifewave. What do you think about Lifewave? I think it's a sticker, a magical sticker, placebo. So we're going to have a look at a video from two doctors. Now, doing a little bit of research on the main doctor, and he is a cardiologist, but I want you to take some notice here because he is a cardiologist as an internal medical doctor or something. And this is alarm bells here. He is highly effective at diagnosing the root cause of your heart condition the first time while developing custom natural treatment plan for even the toughest of challenges. He's an expert at turning natural science into outstanding patient care. And down here he says, and he uses IV therapy, echocardiography. So he is certified by the American Board of Internal Medicine in clinical cardiac electrophysiology, cardiovascular disease, and internal medicine. So that's just all like, red flag, red flag, red flag. Because, yeah, they're not the best. And obviously natural treatments have a place and people can exercise their own rights to do what they would like with their own medical health, except for women in America. They're not allowed to do what they want with their bodies. Okay, get over it, Tish. And it says here, with a deep interest in complementary alternative medicine, he strives to reduce the need for pharmaceuticals. If they work, they work. Come on. Invasive procedures and exposure to harmful radiation. Yeah. So I don't know that I trust him very much. On his YouTube channel, he goes all the way. He's 9 years. He's been on YouTube for ages. He has 40k subs and has got some high views, like 2.6k, etc., etc. And then we get to, I had a look at his Facebook too, and there's nothing on there that, like, I expected some Trumpy things, and there wasn't anything on there. This one here is my main concern. X39 patient testimonial, 98k views. Seems like he's doing stuff to for the clout. Dr. James reviews Joe Rogan's fave shroom coffee. Fuck Joe Rogan. He endorsed Trump. Don't listen to Spotify ever again. Yeah, so, and then obviously this is pharmaceuticals, and it's like, oh, please don't be just recommending people do shit on the internet, you know? So, do we want to have a quick look at this one? I think we might. Okay, I need to swap. Great intro. Just start straight away there, dude. I recorded an hour and a half of video, and the hard drive filled up, and it went away. So I have to re-record it. Love my life. At least I've got something else to think about other than the election. Okay, I'm back. I'm really annoyed because, well, the world, but also the hour and a half that I recorded didn't work. So now I have to go back to the beginning of this damn video. I'm actually feeling like I'm gonna throw up. I spent a little bit too long doom scrolling on Threads. I just put a video up just saying that I love everybody, but now I feel like I'm about to fall apart. I'm just so concerned for everybody, you know? Like everybody. Gaza, Ukraine, trans people, you know. Oh, I do feel sick. It makes me feel sick. Where did I get up to? Yeah. I should have watched this before. I pressed record. I'm gonna go make dinner in a second. No, stop. This was before the world was over and everything sucked. Oh, it was the beginning of the testimonial. Okay. I'm so sad and angry and feels really hopeless. I know I'm in Australia. That's a bit different. So, James, and it's Canella, not Nella. It's not a silent letter. Do you know what will be good though? They're going to Amendment 25 Trump. That's going to be fun. Although then we have JD, so that's not going to be fun. Like, it's 98,000 K views. No, 98K views. Look at everybody having a gay old time. Oh, that's right. I'm going to put it on mute while the video plays. And then I'm going to keep... This was my busy job today. See these? There's like a bunch of beads and they've got letters on them. And I've just been sorting them because they're not sorted. And then these ones are like there's ones with a little heart. Hang on, what is that? A moon and a smiley face. Not feeling a very smiley face at the moment, too. Oh, a star. Because I'm looking for blue letters. They're going to focus for me. Trying to focus on my face. Because I'm going to make a blue brooch. I don't know why I'm bothering, because the world is over. The world is ending. This is how I felt. No, this feels worse than Hillary. Way worse. Because we know he's not an unknown factor, you know. And also, but then I also compare it to 9/11 because I thought the world was going to end. And it won't. So it's okay. It's going to be not very good, but it won't. The world's not going to end. So it's going to be okay. All right, let's listen to this bullshit. Watch Dr. Canella here sell the garment. He's going to sell the garment. All right. Did you know that I had a star tattooed there? Because it's usually covered up by my watch. And look at that. It's so bright, right? This is like 20 years old, maybe longer. It's a very old tattoo. It's one of my first ones. All right, let's go.
Okay, so I'm here with my good friends Jim and Mary. I have been using the Lifewave X39 patches now for about 2 months, and I was delighted to find that Jim and Mary have been using the patches for 2 years now and have seen some remarkable.
Oh, 2 months. And this is from 1 year ago. He's been on them. Approximate cost 100 per pack of 30 patches. Do you know what's good about dogs too? They don't know about politics. Minnie's just chewing on Murphy's face. Murphy loves her, like, and it's because I force them together, and he just like annoys the shit out of her. It's funny, and then she puts him in his place, and then he goes back for more. All right, keep watching.
Benefits. So I might ask Mary, over 2 years, what did you notice with the patches?
So when we started out, I was very skeptical about seeing anything happen because that's my nature. But I had seen videos about how people with thinning hair.
I don't think it is your nature to be skeptical about things when you tried it, okay? I can't believe they do the hair loss thing. I know Savannah Marie sometimes does, like a sneaky review because, oh, no, she used to get alopecia. She still get alopecia to see if it, helps. She tried Monate for like 8 months. All right, let's keep going.
Had gotten thicker hair, and I thought, well, if I can get that, then I'll be happy. And
The thumbnails?
so now my hair is drastically thickened because it was getting very thin. Plus, I've lost a lot of the gray.
She got rid of her grey hair from that patch. Me too. From hair color.
Starting in November of 2020, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder, polymyalgia rheumatica.
Wow.
And it causes a lot of pain in the joints and muscles, the shoulders and hips especially. And for quite a while, I was wearing the X39 patch on my left hip because that's where I had most of the pain.
Okay.
And about 3...
Okay, let's have a look at this. So it's a game changer. Benefits. The Lifewave X39 TM patch is designed... What's wrong with my reading today? Is designed to elevate a copper peptide known to activate stem cells. Peptides. It's the word of the month. So we've got rapid pain relief, reduced inflammation, supports wound healing, energy and vitality. I mean, it just lists energy and vitality. Vitality. Like, what does that mean? Because these all have like a verb. Well, sort of. Mental clarity, enhances sports performance, faster recovery from exercise, and improved skin appearance. Seems like these are health claims. Do we know her? We know her. Health claims, yeah. These seem a little bit vague. Faster recovery from exercise. For what? What does that mean? Like heart rate, breathing rate, like muscle, like that's pretty vague. So you can make a statement like that. I keep looking at my phone, but I turned all the notifications off because I didn't want to see any more notifications. Do you think there's anyone in anti-MLM who's a Trumper? Have a think about it. Anyway, like the things, they're a little bit vague, but then something like reduced inflammation and supports wound healing, more specific and absolutely medical claims. But I know that's kind of their thing,
2 to 3 months ago, that pain finally subsided, and I'm able to walk fairly normal most of the time now. But then I started getting the pain in my shoulders and my biceps, especially in the morning when I woke up. I could barely lift my arms. I go in to take a shower, and by the time I'm done drying off, my arms just felt like I'd had the most intense workout you could imagine.
Unreal.
And Jim suggested I move the X39, since I don't really need it on my hip, up to my C7 on the back of my neck. And so I started that just about 3 days ago. And it's been amazing, the switch, how I woke up this morning almost pain-free. There's a little bit.
Almost pain-free. Also, I wake up in the morning with pain because I'm old. And I'm often like a fall asleep on top of my arm type of person because I'm usually squished into like a little space because I sleep with 4 dogs. Wilbur sleeps in the crate. So, and Mabel and Minnie, I'm having second guesses that they're pregnant, but because they should be giving birth this week. And they both want to sleep right on top of me at the moment, which is fine. I like cuddling, but Mabel wants to sleep with her butt very close to my face. I don't like that. Yeah, interesting that like these just sound like normal old people sort of like things. That's what I wanted to say.
But in about 2 minutes after getting up and walking around, it subsides. But I don't have the problem now in the shower with my arm feeling like I'm getting an extreme workout just from showering. So
Wow, 3 days with a change of position.
yeah, it's remarkable. And there's been no other changes that I can attribute it to other than moving the patch up to my C7.
So cool. So we're talking about patch technology. This is a skin.
And I question that because why does it matter where it is? If it's going to sink in to your body, isn't it like any sort of like medication that it goes to the place where it needs to go? That's what makes me very skeptical about it.
patch, a dermal patch from Lifewave. You just peel off the back like a Band-Aid and apply this to your skin, usually in the position of an acupuncture point. And the technology is that your body will heat up a substance that's in the patch. It's 96% plant-based substances, but then those ingredients will beam an infrared signal back into your body, which can have a multitude of effects. I think predominantly for the patches, as I understand it, is upregulation of mitochondrial function. So these are little engines in your cell that actually generate energy, and the infrared signal can help the electron transport system function more efficiently.
I just love it because they're just like, the myocardial functionality of the Gemini. Yep. Yep. Little engine. It's a little engine.
The mitochondria produce more energy, the cells have more energy, the tissues have more energy, and we experience more energy. So this is the patch technology, and X39 is the flagship patch of Lifewave. And the result can be decreased inflammation, decreased pain, better sleep, which is just fantastic. So that's again the X39 flagship patch from Lifewave. Yes. Cool. Thank you. And Jim, what about you? You've got a cool story.
Oh yeah, I got a cool story. So I was a police officer in Pomona, California, and I sustained a back injury. And I blew out the discs L4, L5, and S1. And so in 1985, I had back surgery, and they did a laminectomy. And the surgeon told me that at some point in my life, I would have to undergo another surgery. He said, because this is not a lifetime fix. December of, let's see, we've been on Lifewave for over 2 years. And my chiropractor / doctor up in Idaho, Dr. John Harmon, had called me and was familiar with my issues with my back. And he said, this is something that could really be done.
My neck, my back. Dun, 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 dun. You know it. You know it. I have to do it. I had to do it. I did it before when I watched this. And I like it was spontaneous before, but now it's a little bit more on purpose. Okay. My neck, my back. Lick the something off my crack. Is that it? Yeah, this is interesting. I need to pay attention because I've already watched it. I'm like, yeah, I've seen this, but I need to actually offer commentary. Yeah.
Beneficial. So we looked at the product and we thought, you know, I'm taking a lot of ibuprofen and Aleve, and this is probably something that might be able to help me out. And so there would be mornings that I would wake up and I couldn't get dressed. I would have to have Mary help me get dressed, shower, because I was in so much pain. Well, not being a smart guy because I was a policeman, and you know, we're
ACAB. How to do it. How to do it. Did it before. Yeah.
pretty macho guys. So I would you know turn to the you know ibuprofen, whatever it would take to get rid of the pain. And Mary suggested, she said, let's try the X39. Within
That's interesting. I don't think there's anything wrong with taking ibuprofen as long as you're, you know, following the instructions. This coming from me, the in recovery codeine addict. Yeah.
I would say less than 2 minutes, I could bend, I could squat, I could get my shoes and socks on.
Unreal.
It was
2 minutes.
unbelievable.
2 minutes from total pain.
Oh yeah, and I mean.
And this apparently is not how it is supposed to work. Because I was looking for information from it the whole time. Lexons. Oh, they're all. I think it's on this tab. Oh, that's that's me looking for information. There was something that I read, and it's not supposed to give you automatic relief like that. It's honestly not. Like, it's supposed to be a slow release. Maybe it was on here, actually. Yeah. It was in the comments. Now I remember. Not the best testimonials. I have bone on bone, and I put these patches on, and within 10 minutes I was walking pain-free. It was a miracle. Probably be a matter of time before they get shut down because this works. A year? No. Truth Inspector, great name. I'll go back to that one because that's a good point. It's kind of the point I made before. This one. How can you have such huge improvement immediately when they indicate it should be worn for at least a month to see results? I want to try, but I'm so skeptical. I was very skeptical. I was in pain at all the time. My sciatica and all my joints that I could barely hold a cup. I decided to give a chance, started seeing results after 3 weeks. Honestly, they're expensive and couldn't afford it, so I decided to join the company. That way I can pay the cost of the patches since I'm very happy with all the benefits. Also, my skin is soft and glowing. I've never seen this result with any face cream, even the expensive ones. Good luck.
Yeah, he claims after putting X39 patch on, he was pain-free in 2 minutes. From everything I've heard, X39 takes time to work. I'm not going to worry about these questions because they don't answer them. Although we're going to have a look at this one because it gets a little bit blue. Do these patches help with prostate issues? Does it help with so-called foot drop issues? Now, at first when I read that, I was like, and what, pray tell, is a foot drop issue? We'll see. Might help with prostate, but insertion is very uncomfortable. Tee-hee-hee. Yes, my 68-year-old African-American friend. Why is that important? I have no idea. And I discussed this. He had problems and used patches for 2 weeks, and he is living with semi-boner every day. I forgot about that part. I just knew it was about erectile dysfunction. A semi-boner. That's not ideal. That's no way to go around the world. Jeez. But he uses a lot of patches. He'll fast and great results. Feels good to laugh again. He shared his protocol for my Korean clients who want to learn to resolve ED, not an eating disorder, but erectile dysfunction. The other ED. And not executive director, which is it's in Optavia and Monate. Or have a greater erections and sexual health. Smiley face. Oh God. I cannot believe it kills pain right away. I saw a YouTube and they said it takes months to start working. Apparently about 3% of lucky people experience almost instantaneous relief of their symptoms, but majority after 3 to 6 months. However, it probably depends on what is going on in your body and what needs repair more urgently. You could have asymptomatic pathology occurring within unknowingly, which is being reversed before your obvious symptomatic disease is focused on. There's one more I want to have a look at, which is about keloids. 9 days in, my keloids have shrunk. Now, a keloid is kind of like a skin lesion, and a lot of people get it from getting their ears pierced, and that's sort of especially if they get the gun. I can read without glasses. It's still a little blurry, but readable. Oh yeah, she is inferring that the X39 patch, that the Lifewave patch improved her eyesight. Yeah, that's where we are right now. Whereas before I couldn't read a thing without glasses. Also, I noticed some new hair growth in my alopecia areas. So again, the hair growth. My arthritic fingers moves more freely. I was skeptical at first, but I'm sold now. P.S. I've been using the X49. My friend gave me a sample of the X39 in the days I used those when I saw new hair growth. But I love the X49 results. Please share how you used and where and the time intervals. I'm a Nubian, if you don't mind. Hello, so your keloid shrunk from the X49. How amazing. Wow. You're really age reversing. May you continue to experience healing benefits. My eyes are getting better. Hang on, is this the same person? No. I keep taking my glasses off so I can see better and more clearly. Waiting for my face wrinkles to soften and skin tighten. I'm sorry, what? Waiting for that? What? They are not saying that you can reverse aging like that, are they? Jesus. I think I'm going to have to stay away from fucking the news, all of the news. But I need to be protesting for Queensland, but I'm going to treat it like when there's controversy going on in anti-MLM community. Shut up and make a video. That's what I'm doing.
Anything. And so that was the main reason we started with Lifewave, just because of the possibilities that it could really help. And so at a point I ended up I had fallen because the pain was severe. I was having lots of issues, and I figured I needed to probably go to another surgeon. So I had surgery here in Phoenix with Dr. Eric Rebick, and anyway, so he was able to do a spinal fusion on me. But even to this very day, even after having the surgeries, I still wear my X39 patch every day.
Cool.
And if I have an issue where I need additional help, then we'll go to the IC patch.
Okay.
And it's been really very beneficial.
Okay.
So one of the good points that, because we've been wearing these patches consistently for the last 2.5 years.
Right.
And when I had my back surgery with Dr. Rebick, They did surgery on me at 4:30 in the afternoon. The next morning, I told him I was ready to go home.
Wow.
And he told me, well, you're going to be here for 3 days.
Okay.
He said, your surgery.
That's insanity. Was he on drugs? That's just so crazy. Why would anyone be like, I don't know. Can you really say that it was the patch? You know, like what's his actual health like to start with? Yeah, that sounds very also like a little bit entitled. No, I know better than you, you know? Yes, I'm hugging my dogs because I feel like shit. But I'm trying to transmit the love to the screen, okay?
Your injuries were so severe, and what we had to do, he says, you need to stay. And I said, I felt like $1 million.
Wow.
And so they had to get approval from the hospital doctor, and then the physical therapist. And I was on my way home by about 1:30 in the afternoon.
Unbelievable.
And
Again, just it sounds so crazy. Yet you might have felt like $1 million because I'm going to assume that you had like pain medication, you know?
I really contributed to these patches.
Okay.
So we will be lifetime users of these.
Nice.
We just believe in them, and they've shown if they can help me recover from a major surgery in 12 hours.
Yes.
I believe that by using them consistently, that they're doing things to help us with our general overall health every day.
Yeah.
And so we buy a year's worth of patches at a time, just so that we make sure that we have them, and then we do share them with friends and family. So this has been remarkable as far as I'm concerned.
Cool. So again, you know, every type of patch is the same patch. It's just a sticker like a Band-Aid, and you put it on your skin first thing in the morning, and then 12 hours later you take it off. One-time use, so discard,
Right.
and then you spend 12 hours without the patch, and then you reapply the patch.
Right.
And Lifewave has a diagram for the patch showing various points on the body where the patches can be applied.
Yes.
And those typically correspond to acupuncture sites.
Yes.
So portals of entry of energy into your body.
Yes.
You know, between the fascial planes. So in the case of Lifewave, Mary, you said you had moved it, so Lifewave does say to put it below the belly button.
And that's typically where I would wear it until a few days ago I put it up on my C7.
Okay, so that's when you feel at the top of your spine, the very highest bony process. That's the C7 vertebrae.
That's what someone else said too. Hang on. They said it better than me. It was... Well, that's interesting. If you discontinue use, do you regress? Must they be used indefinitely? You will begin aging from the level of benefit from you gain. Health benefits from the patches will likely regress over time after you stop using the patches. Please use this link for your Lifewave purchase. Scammy. Ooh. Oh God, my 49-year-old son has Parkinson's. I believe these can help. Just got to get him to believe. Leave your 49-year-old son with Parkinson's alone. Oh yeah, this is it. I thought the patch helped wherever the pain is needed, and you didn't have to place it in specific area. It seems like if she was using the patch for 2 years already, then she wouldn't have developed the shoulder pain or needed to put it there specifically. It was explained to me that it just helps throughout the whole body with pain and other things. Yeah, interesting. I don't know. There's a few people who say like the sound is bad. I think it's fine. Yeah, that's interesting. I would have thought that too, you know? Yeah.
And you can put the patch right on that. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
And Jim actually wears his on the scar of his first back surgery
Oh,
because he has the pain there, and so it helps to, force the T cells in that area.
cool.
to come
So
out.
putting it right on the side of the greatest pain has
Exactly.
given you the greatest
Yeah.
benefit.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
both noticed
Okay.
that.
That's a good story.
Yeah, these are wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
Right.
So, I mean, we're big proponents, and I've given him. I have a friend in Boise, Idaho, Brad Rackham, and he had neuropathy, and it would take him an hour to get out of bed and be able to put any weight on his feet. He started using these, and within a couple of days, he would get up in the morning like a normal human being, be able to go in and get a shower, and he's a custom cabinet maker, and he found these to be very valuable.
Cool.
So it helped him immediately. And he also puts them on, he gets migraine.
Oh,
And so he'll put it on one side of the temple or the other, and when he has a severe migraine, he'll put it over one eye,
Unbelievable.
whichever side the migraine is on,
the X39.
the X39,
And migraine relief.
and it's gone.
10, 15 minutes, it's gone.
Yep.
That's an exciting story. Thank you. Someone just asked me about migraines.
Yeah. So my daughter in Nampa, Idaho, we're going up to see her.
Yeah, but that's that dude's testimonial, not their testimonial, so it's not really like you can you know, it's a friend of a friend.
We're taking her some patches.
Cool.
So she suffers from them terribly.
Oh,
So,
migraines.
Migraines.
Okay, that'll be interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I shipped them north to my parents. An additional thing that I've tried from Lifewave, of course, the X39 patch. There's a complementary patch now, the X49 patch. You know, this product is not FDA approved, it's not FDA tested, but we are free to try complementary therapies as we choose and experience the benefit that we find. And I've had really fantastic results with both of these. Or I feel energetic with both.
Sell the garment. He is selling the garment. Always on show. That's in America's Next Top Model thing. Sell the garment.
Both of these actually more energy with the X49, I believe, than the X39, but understand that they're complementary. And being a little bit price conscious, you can wear them together if you like. You can stack them like a hamburger, I understand. So you can put one on, the other one right on top of it, because the body will heat both, and then the infrared just goes through into your body. Or you could potentially alternate patches. So one day the X39, next day the X49, and that overlapping effect should have a lot of the synergy that these G patches can provide. So the package is growing, and that's another potential strategy.
Yes.
For the Lifewave patches.
We love it.
Cool.
Cool. Ooh, what just... Did my earring just... Oh, I forgot to mute. My stretcher just fell right out. How did that happen? That is a good testimonial. And, I mean, he's got pretty good... He had some good views, like... this one's is probably his highest viewed one, 98,261. That's a lot. I'd be very fucking happy if I had a video that had that many. Everything just feels so pointless. All right, so this is Canella and Dr. Stacy. Dr. Stacy, I think, is a big wig at this, at Lifewave. It is recent. It's the 30th of October, 2024, and it is following their convention. There's quite a few comments. And yeah, Dr. Stacy, did I have her? I think this is care of Dr. Stacy. Oh no, when I went to her Lifewave link, it sent me here, and you're shopping with Lifewave Inc. Wouldn't she have her own? Or is she a part of the company? That's what I'd like to know. Yeah. So, I don't know. Step 1, patch up. Step 2, wear your wellness solution. Well, isn't putting the patch on and wearing the patch the same thing? When you think? Yeah. Right. I'm going to pause here because I'm going to go cook dinner, plan my suicide. I'm kidding. Cut that out, Tish. Plan my revolution. There you go. That's going to plan. Okay, be back soon.
Back with dinner. Wish I didn't spend so much time thinking about fucking election, but because now I need something else. Thank goodness! Nictoremia. Love him. Them. Okay. We're going to start this video. So let's do it.
Everyone, thank you for being here this evening. Dr. Stacey Hollweger. I am excited you decided to join us for tonight's Tuesday night doctor call, or maybe you are listening to the replay. It's for informational purposes only. I am not a medical doctor, and even though I am joined this evening by a medical doctor, he is...
Is he though? Is he a medical doctor? It was hard to work out with his profile. Yeah, he's got a PhD, and that's hers. Like, I'm confused by it all. And I think it's shitty for a medical doctor to be pushing this.
Your medical doctor. So if you have questions in regards to your health, medications, anything to do with your personal healthcare needs, please check with your doctor, your physician, and know that the information that we're sharing tonight is going to be very detailed, but it is for informational purposes, and we are not making any claims to treat or cure or diagnose anything at all. Now, we will have a Q&A section. So if you have some questions, please feel free to put those in the chat. Dr. Kneller is here this evening. He is a cardiologist. He's a heart rhythm specialist. He's an electrophysiologist, and he is excited about Lifewave and about using this in his practice. And he has done some phenomenal research already with patients, and also excited to be doing further research with David and with Lifewave in the very near future. So Dr. Kneller, I want to give you the floor the whole time. I would love for you to please share with everyone, how long have you been using Lifewave? You know, what was it about this technology as a cardiologist that made you say, oh, I'm definitely interested. I want to hear more. And please tell us if you have any personal experiences. And of course, I know you have a fantastic PowerPoint presentation. Getting to meet you at conference just the other week, and you had that portfolio. I was like, wow, we have got to get him on here because I know we have so many people that are so excited to learn more. So thank you, Dr. Kneller, for being here this evening. And I will let you
Hey y'all, just so you know, their video is sped up to 1.25 and I automatically speed my videos up to 1.35 or 1.3. I speak slowly. I'm Australian, okay? So, that's why she sounds super fast. All right. I love you. Bye. I'm still shocked that his name is pronounced Canella. This is so dangerous for this MLM because people are going to be quoting this man and yeah. Concerning.
Take it away.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Stacy, so much. And it was great to connect with you at Lifewave 2024 in Dallas. It was a fantastic conference. And I was in the audience when David gave you your very prestigious award up front. And, you know, from everyone at Team Evolve, we're very proud of you and for hosting such a phenomenal podcast and getting information out. It really is incredible. And I have to thank Team Evolve for their support of my Lifewave experience and for getting me connected and helping me to coordinate some of the research findings that I'm going to show to you this evening that I think are super exciting. I'm in conventional medicine. I also practice some holistic cardiology. I'll tell you about that. My background is engineering, and as an engineer, I'm always looking for solutions that work. We have problems. People have problems. You have a solution that works and solve those problems and can solve those problems or address them and do that in the most efficient and minimalistic way possible. And that, of course,
when we get to it, like have a look at his degrees because it does seem really odd that he goes like kind of from engineering to medicine. You know, like, I suppose. I mean, it could give you some insight to like the mechanics of things and how they work and how you could manipulate it for the body. So it's not doesn't mean it's completely, you know, bad or anything.
would turn on anyone to Lifewave if they have the opportunity to experience those benefits for themselves. So I was first patched in March of 2022 at a conference. There was a booth. I had some shoulder pain at the time. Icewave was placed on my shoulder over my suit jacket.
So I find the wording "I was first patched" very concerning. It just sounds so culty because it's like I first used the patch. No, the patch is a verb now, you know, like that's how far it's ingrained into the life of these people.
And I immediately experienced a 50% reduction in shoulder pain, doubled my range of motion. So that was absolutely fascinating. And then I'm very interested in supplements, and probably many of us supplements, and I've been taking glutathione supplements myself for a long time, recommending those to many people, paying a lot of money for high quality glutathione supplements, never really feeling any different, but, you know, understanding this is probably.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you taking a glutathione supplement and you didn't feel any effects from it, but you just took it? Weird. I wonder if it was like this is his first MLM, you know? Because it seems like I couldn't find much like other than what he has already listed for himself here. Going back into his YouTube, it did seem like he was pretty tech savvy, pretty social media savvy, you know? So he's been around for a while. Good pause story. Yeah. And the fact that he had this patch over his jacket and he felt it has to be placebo. You know, like that just sounds impossible.
In reducing inflammation. And then what a very interesting concept that you can put this phototherapy patch on your skin. It's going to reflect your own light energy back into you and activate your own glutathione, perhaps by 300%. So you don't have to actually swallow the supplement to get the benefits of glutathione. So I tried my first glutathione patch, and I happened to have extensive seasonal allergies, and it was an allergy season. I put the patch on and immediately stopped sneezing. You know, wore it for the recommended 12 hours, took the patch off, started sneezing again. You know, so I was like, wow, I'm actually experiencing the benefits of glutathione.
But I thought that the effects didn't stop as soon as, you know, like they regulated through your body and stayed in your body, you know, because even he said the effects will regress slowly. Not immediately when you take the patch off, you start sneezing. That makes me think it is placebo, you know?
Swallowed any glutathione. So that was one experience that really had me on the hook. And then, you know, in Arizona, we hike a lot because it's a desert and there's not a lot else to do. So I had purchased the carnosine patches to experiment with those and do these very standard hikes in the mountains in the desert, and started wearing carnosine. And within 1, 2, 3 sessions, I felt like I was on an escalator floating along these trails and up the mountains. You know, I'm like, I'm not getting fit that fast. There is something here that feels like it's transporting me. My level of muscle and fitness performance was elevated so dramatically with the introduction of the carnosine patch, and that was just beyond fascinating. And so I've been hooked ever since, and using the patches for myself and recommending those as I have opportunity. So that's my personal experience.
Recommending them as I have the opportunity. That's fucking terrifying, because wouldn't you just say everybody needs it? And this man's an authority, so he is going to get everything, recommended, because what did he do in his YouTube video? He dropped his link. This seems very unethical.
Lifewave. I know many people have had their lives saved. We have very dramatic testimonials. Mine aren't so dramatic, but they're very important and deeply meaningful to me.
Well, I'd love to ask you again before you go further. You said that you found out about this at kind of like a conference, trade show kind of thing, an expo, and someone put the Icewave over your coat jacket and it worked?
Yes. So the idea is that Lifewave patches will be activated as far as 6 inches from the surface of your body, that you are still in the biofield of that person, and the patch will activate. And
So if you're a couple, could you just stand really close to each other all day? Especially if you're an MLM, because, like, you're at home with your family all day, every day. Yeah. So then you only have to buy half the amount of patches. You're just going to blast other people that you walk past? Like, if you sit close to somebody on a train? So bizarre.
will be effective up to 6 inches away from you. And if you happen to be wearing a suit made of wood and you were covered in 2x4s, the patches would be effective through that physical barrier.
Wow.
So over top of your suit jacket, someone put stickers, and I got the benefit in my shoulder. We put them on our skin, but interestingly, they don't have to be directly in contact with your skin to activate. Which again, just speaks to kind of the spooky power of the whole technology. And that was just very interesting to me. So let's be aware that that's a possibility, that we can put these on the outsides of our garments.
Fantastic.
So that's kind of my own experience, and of course I've expanded my range of usage with the patches dramatically, like all of us have once we get turned on to the technology. And then I'm looking for ways to understanding the dramatic health benefit that I felt. I'm naturally curious, how can I measure these things the way we measure other indices of performance in cardiology that would give us additional mechanistic insights into how the patches are actually changing our bodies, in a way that us cardiologists are used to receiving that information. So after thinking about it and plodding along, I was able to design some studies that did exactly that, and the results turned out to be quite astonishing. So I will have my second presentation at the American Heart Association on November 18 in Chicago, a moderated poster session on Lifewave technology and the effects on global heart function. So that is a clinical presentation, and that follows on the heels of another acceptance to the American Heart Association from August of this year at the Basic Science Conference, where I presented a more limited data set at that conference and received a lot of attention from the basic scientists working in the cardiovascular space as well. And people are just very open and very curious and very interested. And wow, that's so neat to look at you. And that's,
Yeah, I did look up the American Heart Association, and put in a search for Lifewave, but nothing sort of came up that was easy to find. But it was more like, ooh, maybe the ingredients like carnosine or whatever it was. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because, essentially this is like, what do they call it? Like complementary. It was in one of the things, but you can use it along with traditional, and then that's what I think people really need to think about. Like, what is the traditional treatment, and making sure that you just don't sort of go down the rabbit hole of thinking, I don't need that anymore, because people definitely do. I wonder, I can't remember Jessie Lee talking about Lifewave. No, I know it was around then, because I'm pretty sure Erin and Katie had done their video on it all. So, yeah.
really exciting. So really well received when shown to quite a sophisticated audience of some very accomplished research types, which was nice to see.
Yes,
Sometimes when we're pushing through all the skepticism, it seems like that wouldn't be the case. But in point of fact, people were extremely receptive, and I'm looking forward to going back to Chicago to make that presentation.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited to see everything that you've already discovered and that you're going to be sharing with them. Thank you.
Yeah. So I can. This might be a good time to go to a screen share.
Absolutely.
And I can take you through my findings a little bit here. Looks like something just got dropped on top of me. There we go. So feel free to ask any questions, interrupt. Don't let me go too fast. I'll kind of walk you through what we found, and I'm really interested to see.
How long do you think it takes him to press present? Guesses in the comments. Phototherapy to stimulate carnosine activity for the enhancement of global... Oh, I hope that wasn't shaking the camera. I'm shaking my leg, sorry. Global heart function, a promising therapy for congestive heart failure. James Canella. MD, PhD, FHRS, University of Arizona College of Medicine, moderated and post-presentation AHA Scientific Sessions 2024, November 18, 2024, Chicago, Illinois. Oh, what does that say? Disclaimer, this something has no... Can't see what it says, but I really want to... Maybe he doesn't go to full screen for this one, so... Oh, I gave it away the game. All right, keep going.
For the purposes of American Heart Association in November, the study we're presenting is titled Phototherapy to Stimulate Carnosine Activity for the Enhancement of Global Heart Function, a promising therapy for congestive heart failure. And again, that's coming up on November 18. And a little bit of my bio here, just as background for our audience. This is kind of my educational trajectory. I began in mechanical engineering and then did a master's of bioengineering before going to McGill University for an MD, PhD internal medicine. And then I went on to do cardiovascular fellowship at Columbia University in New York, and then the heart rhythm specialty coming back to the West Coast, where I'm originally from, at UCLA, then back out east for one more year at Virginia Commonwealth University. And I've been in practice ever since 2010 in independent clinical practice. So right now, I should expand this for you. Sorry about that. So right now, my two practice locations are one at Natural Heart Doctor in Scottsdale, Arizona. That's a second opinion consult service where we do Zoom consults for cardiology patients all over the country, advising them on how to understand root causes of disease and hopefully reverse those root causes.
Oh, that's interesting. I missed that last time. Second opinion. Why aren't you a first opinion one? How interesting. And do you think because he is in a normal Lakeside Heart and Vascular Center, do you think he points anybody into the Natural Heart Doctor, you know? And like I said, the red flag is that root causes, right? Because they can often say it's like some bullshit reason. So, interesting. Electrophysiologist. Haven't heard that job title before.
A lot of detox, a lot of gut health work, natural supplements to help people eventually transition off of their pharmaceuticals is often the goal.
What? I'm sorry, what? No. No, sir. No, sorry, Bob. If people need pharmaceuticals, that's okay. You said that this is working in tandem with conventional medicine, not... Well, he didn't say it, but it's in his, like, website-y thing. I don't like the sound of that at all.
Of that practice. It's very satisfying. We meet very interesting and motivated individuals, and I'm happy to help any individual through the Natural Heart Doctor service. And again, that's available to anyone in the country through Zoom. And then I'm also a member of a group in Lake Havasu, Arizona, and that's a traditional conventional cardiology electrophysiology practice. And really a great setup and situation there. We're helping a lot of individuals. That service is available on your insurance. If you've made one visit to Lake Havasu, we can do the rest of your care by telehealth if that's appropriate. So anyone is welcome to come and visit me in Lake Havasu should they wish to. Wonderful tourist destination, lots of snowbirds. Our population triples in winter because it's such a nice climate and right on the water. So yeah, so daily life is a mix between the electrophysiology laboratory where we're ablating complex rhythms or putting in pacemakers, defibrillators, and office-based practice. And really a privilege to be in that healing clinical role. So I'm excited all the time for my daily real-world practice life. Moving on to Lifewave and this technology that is so fascinating, and I've tried to understand it a little bit better and to put it into the context of human biofield energetics, which is a topic I had been researching independently before I was introduced to Lifewave. We know that the Lifewave patches contain a crystal that reflects back our own biofield energy, certain frequencies of our own energy back into our bodies. And that's often done along acupuncture points where that energy can penetrate back into us more effectively. But what is the origins of the biofield energy that our bodies are constantly emanating?
So this is definitely woo-woo. You can see this is Dr. Joe Dispenza's book. I looked it up, and I now I can't remember the name of it. It's Supernatural, Being Supernatural. Let me have a look. The Supernatural. Becoming. I was so close. I was so close. So that's his little book down here. Little. Why are you being so condescending? And that's on the front cover of it. Oh, but nothing's a conspiracy, right? This one we have the plexus and glands. I don't know why they're in play, but they are. I don't quite know how the plexus deal with the glands, and this is giving chakras, obviously. I'll be distracted every now and then, like, it hits me again, and I just want to cry. I probably will later. Again, tired. Now I'm just gonna close my eyes and talk into the microphone, pretending that I'm saying something smart, which I'm doing by changing the inflection and cadence of my voice. Okay, it's so funny that though it is aligned to the chakras, which is not a mainstream westernized exception, you know? I just think this is a way of saying that, oh, you have this wrong with you, and I've got the only cure, you know? Here it is.
The heart is 5,000 times stronger electrically than, say, the brain, for example, and that probably is the largest source of electrical current in our bodies. And that generates an aura, a biofield energy field of electromagnetism that can be measured 3 to 4 feet away from our bodies, up to 10 feet away from our bodies, depending on the individual. And so that would be represented in this.
I made it 1.25 before when I watched it for the first time, but I just didn't tell anybody. So he's talking pretty slowly.
Figure on your screen here with the larger torus field. Now, we know there's also cerebral spinal fluid moving up and down our spinal canal, bathing our brains, that contains charged particles. And whenever charged particles are in motion, they generate an associated electromagnetic field. And so from that motion along our spines, we will generate a secondary field, which is illustrated by the smaller torus around the individual in the blue photo. When we are next to individuals, our energy fields will overlap with theirs. And there is measurements to confirm that our energy can directly influence the people next to us and vice versa. So being energetic beings is a very exciting thing. And the fact that we can influence our neighbors with our energy is fascinating as well. So just a little bit more on the movement of cerebral spinal fluid. As you breathe, you're actually flexing your sacrum, and that contributes to propelling cerebral spinal fluid up and down your spine, for example, and the sutures in your skull also demonstrate some flexibility and respond to the changes in pressure as we breathe, and both of those forces are circulating the cerebral spinal fluid, which is a fair amount of motion of charged particles, which does generate an electromagnetic field. So this is part of the energy that I think that the patches are reflecting back into us. To complicate that a little.
That's really interesting, because what I found out about cerebrospinal fluid activities that promote deep breathing, such as yoga, meditation, and light exercises like walking, may positively influence the CSF flow. Have you ever felt the clarity of mind after leaving a yoga class or returning from a walk? And if there is disruption to this, it can be life-threatening, leading to increased intracranial pressure, ICP, and insane clown posse, woo, and is implicated in hydrocephalus, idiopathic intracranial hypertension, brain trauma, brain tumors, and stroke. Oh, fun. I was really cued onto this because in yoga we talk about sacrum and sitting on, like your sacrum and getting, pushing into that with your breath. I know that sounds weird, but that's what we say in yoga. Maybe that's what I should do. I should do yoga. Well, I always should do more yoga, but yeah, like I've done teacher training and stuff, so I should go back to it. Right? So that I don't try to do anything else. Okay, see what he says about this, because he said he was like, this is a bit tricky.
Bit, we have a series of nerve ganglia, or tangles of nerves, mini brains, that exist along our central spinal column, 7 major energy centers, which are a nerve plexus, which are paired with a major organ and also a major gland. And so the electrophysiologic activity in each of those centers has charge motion. It's generating a certain amount of field energy in and of itself. And each of these combinations of major plexus and gland correspond to what's traditionally known as our system of chakras, which is a very real phenomenon and has a physiologic basis. So we have 7 chakras, beginning in our root chakra, ascending through the heart chakra, throat, pineal gland, and finally the crown chakra. And interestingly, for those of us who practice medicine or work in healthcare, the picture of all of this has been understood since antiquity, and it is embodied in our symbol of medicine and healthcare, which is the caduceus, where we have a central column representing your spine. The spine peaks at the pine cone, a historic universal symbol of your pineal gland. The spinal fluid ascending along your spine is represented by twisting serpents that finally arrive at the pineal gland. Those are the Kundalini serpents in ancient Egyptian. That's the ascending flow of energy, which will then activate your pineal gland at the level of your 6th energy center. And with that activation comes the liberation of the self, represented by wings. And finally, the crowning attainment of your full human potential with activation of the crown chakra, which is your 7th energy center, also corresponding to the pituitary gland. So we have this energy system, all of these energy mechanisms, the human body.
Okay. I just asked Dr. Google, do real doctors believe in chakras? Is there medical evidence for chakras? While there is not compelling scientific evidence supporting the role of chakras in health and well-being, a number of practices that people use to balance or unblock chakras do have confirmed health benefits. Western science hasn't studied chakra healing very much, and doesn't have a clear understanding of if or how it works. Most Western research about chakras has looked for links between the chakras and the parts of your endocrine and nervous systems that are near them on your body. Yep. The AI says no. There is no scientific evidence that chakras are real, but some scientists have proposed that they may correspond with parts of the nervous system. Chakras are energy centers that are believed to regulate many aspects of health and development, including physical, mental, emotional, intuitive, spiritual, and sensory functions. The word chakra comes from Sanskrit, which means wheel. Chakras are often depicted as spinning wheels, yeah, or vortexes of energy. So it's all about energy. While there is no scientific evidence that chakras are real, some scientists have proposed that they may correspond to parts of the nervous system. For example, a 2017 cadaver study identified that the root chakra might be related to the inferior hypogastric plexus, which sends signals to the reproductive organs and rectum. Rectum? Damn near killed them. Yeah, so I don't know how, if this is going to be blowing people out of the water, even if you do have a picture of some people with a pine cone wings snakes thing.
Body has 50 trillion to 100 trillion cells, depending on your size. Each of those cells have hundreds of mitochondria, which are constantly conducting biochemical reactions. Those biochemical reactions are releasing photons of light that have to go somewhere, emanate from our bodies. And this combined activity is contributing to the human biofield, which is the energy that the patches are then activated by and able to reflect back into us. So very interesting by way of introduction. So my first thought is to say, look, if the patches are activated by your own biofield, but then they're reflecting energy back into you, they should also change your biofield energy in a way that might be measurable. So the patches activate, the biofield activates the patches, and they reflexively change the biofield energy in response to the light that is reflected back into you. So
I need nasal spray. I don't know where it is. It's interesting because he said, like this is where it changes and everything, but they don't even look like the same pattern here, so it's a little bit unusual. And whether this the biofield imaging, whether it was well respected, what to know about biofield therapy, what is it, etc. Biofield therapies are alternative healing practices. Practitioners say they use energy fields to restore balance and health. The most common biofield therapies are Reiki and therapeutic touch. There is little scientific evidence to support the effectiveness of biofield therapies, but they are popular types of complementary, and alternative medicine. It seems that many people find these therapies helpful for managing pain, stress, and symptoms of several health conditions. There you go. Well, that's a pretty cool picture. So biofield therapies include these things: Reiki, therapeutic touch, healing touch, pranic healing, Qigong. There used to be a Qigong group, or Qigong, out of my yoga place, studio. It's called something. What is it? Words are escaping me. And look, I know people have a lot of stock in Reiki. My sister can do Reiki. And, there's definitely something to be said for energy, absolutely. But, yeah, puts the sus in suspicious. And here, little scientific evidence suggests that biofield therapy is effective, but people may use it, may they, to help with anxiety, immune dysfunction, cancer, depression, pain, recovery after surgery, or other procedures. Advocates say that the biofield therapies can improve, but it's essential that alternative therapies are never used as a substitute for traditional care. Yeah, I'm disgusted that they say depression. It helps with depression. Because biofield therapies are non-invasive, there are few potential risks. However, anyone interested in biofield therapist who's currently taking the medication should ask a healthcare professional. Okay, so no scientific Advocates of biofield therapies believe that an energy field surrounds each person, and blockages in the flow of energy can result in illness. Practitioners of biofield therapies claim to manipulate this energy to restore or promote health. No scientific evidence suggests that the energy fields exist, and so far there is little evidence that these therapies are effective. So, burp and burp. Anyway, that's well worded. What a great argument I have. Burp. Okay, let's get back to...
But then they're reflecting energy back into you. They should also change your biofield energy in a way that might be measurable. So the patches activate, the biofield activates the patches, and they reflexly change the biofield energy in response to the light that is reflected back into you. So this is presently unpublished data, but it's another study that we are conducting at the present time, and that would be titled "Impact of a Cutaneous Phototherapy Device on Human Biofield Energetics: A Potent Interaction Accounting for Therapeutic Efficacy." So here you can see, and this is a volunteer who happens to be myself, a aura photo. They're commercially available in crystal shops. Lots of those around.
They're in crystal shops? That doesn't sound very professional. He doesn't look like this. He's got more hair than that. That's weird. I wonder when they took this picture. All right, we'll keep going.
Picture or energy field, and here you see on the top at baseline my 3 pictures of my energy field, frontal and in profile, and I'm predominantly red with a tinge of orange at baseline, corresponding to me really emanating from a root chakra, for example, which I find most common often when I have a photo like this taken. So that's kind of where I live. I'm kind of a root chakra person, kind of primal, I guess, in that regard. And then with our protocol, and we tried various combinations of patches, and the ones that gave us the most interesting color shifts, which is what we're looking for, was aloe vera. So aloe vera applied to the forehead, and our protocol was to simply do the baseline photo, tell the person, try not to change your internal state, don't go get excited or worked up or angry, just stay in a calm, positive state of mind. And 30 minutes after application of aloe vera, let's repeat your aura photo. So here it is, 30 minutes later, and now I'm a green-yellow aura. So I've gone from root sacral chakra up to heart chakra. With the aloe vera patch. Now we know the aloe vera patch will do rebalancing of a number of your major organs, but has its greatest activity in the brain. And it's in the brain even when it's placed in your above the navel, for example, around the back of the neck. Putting it on your forehead is probably the strongest effect, but it really does activate the frontal lobe. So we would expect it to pull energy up towards those energy centers that are in the head. Whether it's the pineal gland or the throat or the crown chakra, and that's definitely the sort of effect that we would see. So the software from this camera, it will generate a couple of graphs for you. And here you can see the baseline balance of each of your 7 energy centers from sacred up to crown. So I was very low in crown, very high in sacral energy, giving me my overall red color. And then with aloe vera, we saw the sacrum pulled down by 2, and those energies were injected into the crown chakra, which went up by 2, with some oscillation of the intervening chakras, such as
I don't understand. Oh, I thought these were kind of like meant to be, like they all look equal, but then it's about the height of it. Weird. But yellow here is 5 here and 5 here. And then, I mean, if they're mostly 5s and 4s, is there much of a shift? I think that's only a shift of 2. Yeah, this is a bad graph. We're going to see it's not the end of bad graphs. Yeah, I'd like to know what's on the X and Y axis. What's the title of the graph? What are the measurements? There is a structure to graphs, and he has not filled it up, so kind of crappy.
My overall color shift was from red to yellow-green. And then with that, you get a redistribution of mind, body, spirit energies in a way where energy was taken out of my body, for example, and injected into spirit, which was very interesting. Another representation of the same phenomenon.
How do you measure that? How the hell do you measure that? How do you measure spirit? That's bizarre. He's going to present this at the American Heart Association. This? Oh my god.
Shifting towards crown chakral activity, as was activated by the aloe vera patch. So very interesting how the energy system is perturbed by aloe vera, and how aloe vera is pulling you up towards its major source of activity. Other interesting things to go along with that are rates of vibration. We're all told in success classes and whatever else that we need to raise our rates of vibration to become more effective human beings and individuals.
What we're told in success classes that we need to raise our vibration. I thought it was just kind of like a saying, And again, what is vibrating? How do you know? And I mean, the emotional stability, it doesn't look like there's a great difference. But again, these graphs don't have an x-axis, don't have a y-axis. There's no title. I don't know what the kilohertz is referring to, you know? And then the relaxation index. Come off it. And what does it mean when the relaxation index has 2 and nearly 3 bars going upwards, and then the next one has a little bit more because it's got 3 and a tiny bit? What does it mean? Doesn't matter though, because they're just going to use what they need to use and throw away what they don't want. Well,
And this graph, the software from this program will output your vibrational rates corresponding to physical, emotional, mental, intuitive. I'm not sure how it's calculating all these things, but it is very interesting and corroborative. We're
he's not sure how it's calculated. Oh, okay. So not only are you going to present this stuff at the American Heart Association, but you're going to be presenting data that you don't know how they got it. I hope he gets laughed off the stage, but you know, the topsy-turvy world we live in today, there's going to be some crackpots who go, yeah, I can sell this crap and then also make some money on it. Ooh, terrible.
here you're at kind of the 300 kilohertz to 200 kilohertz range, and then with Alavita being pulled up to the 500, 600 range with a nice even balancing of physical, emotional, intuitive, mental being a little bit higher than that. So with that upward energy shift that we're all told is so good for us, with an energy rebalancing at those higher frequencies as our energy is pulled up to the crown chakra level. Very interesting that the software could detect that as well. And then it will also give you a plot of your emotional stability, where the number of oscillations in this graph, for example, the more oscillations they are, the more sort of agitated or stressed you are. And then as that balances out and those oscillations are reduced, you become balance centered, less emotionally labile, for example. And so with that, despite the increase in frequency, the increase in energy level, there was that energy stabilization that also occurred, and the graph picked up on that. So some very interesting insights into the impact of the patches on our physiology, which I find fascinating. First of all, it tells you these things are really changing you, and you're activating the patch, but the patch is going back into you, and it really is making changes in your body. And this has been a very interesting way to quantify that and understand what's possible. I'd love to just examine all sorts of patch combinations with the Oraphoto technology that will hopefully happen in the future. So just by way of contrast, here is a friend of mine who came with me to do these experiments. And as a volunteer, he's a devout Muslim individual, prays 5 times a day, speaks 8 different languages, is very intellectual. His baseline color was already blue. So he's already at the level of his throat and pineal chakra, for example, at baseline. So he walks in with that. Lots of orthopedic issues. So knees are a problem. And you can see these energy deficits in his biofield associated with his back and with his knees, where a lot of orthopedic issues, and the energy deficit that results from that. So again, that's good corroborative evidence that the Oraphoto really is sampling your energy accurately. We applied the patch, and after 30 minutes, Alavita also pulled him higher. There wasn't much higher he could go, but you see the purple hues start to emerge, which is the crown chakral activation. And that energy was surrounding him, and you see that the energy deficits begin to blur a little bit. So they smudged. So even that energy rebalance was also bringing energy into areas of deficit that was resulting from those older injuries. So is your shift in color the whole story? I'm not sure. He was thrilled with the increase in brain clarity he experienced immediately with the application of Alavita. So had a strong clinical effect and experience of benefit, even though his Oraphoto wasn't as big of a leap. So it doesn't tell the whole story about therapeutic efficacy with the patches, but still very interesting. And he was just thrilled with the whole experience. So moving on to some of the conventional studies that we've done, I have a couple of case reports, and these are published, so they're available online. You can download them. You're free to use them in your business contacts and to show to individuals examples of how the patches can be efficacious in literature, which, even though they're case reports, these are peer-reviewed sources, which indicates a certain level of credibility. So this is a common scenario in cardiology practice where individuals will undergo heart catheterization using a radial approach. So the radial artery is in your wrist. You put a sheath into the radial artery, and then you'll use this to advance catheters up to the heart to do your angiogram, for example. So this happens a lot. And as you can imagine, there can be injury resulting from this. Needle stick can damage the radial nerve. You can have trauma to the blood vessel. Other sorts of things can happen. One of my patients came back from their angiogram, and they had pain, 5 of 10 pain from the procedure, weakness in their pincer grip. They could no longer grasp a sheet of paper enough to hang onto it, and then numbness. So their 2-point discrimination was quite markedly reduced, and this was very concerning for the individual. And I made a point to visit them in their home, and we tried Lifewave for them, using the patching strategy to map around the site of injury to find what vector might be most effective in reducing the pain. And then when we found that vector, realized that we brought down the pain from 5 of 10 down to 1 of 10. Pincer strength returned to normal, and the 2-point discrimination in terms of sensitivity also.
Is it possible that she just healed? That she was weak because she was undergoing treatment, you know? Yeah, bizarre. 2-point discrimination numbness improved from 3 millimeters to 1 millimeter. Yeah, like, is it possible that she just healed? These things happen, and the placebo effect is real,
return. So I actually went out and got a gripometer. So you squeeze and it measures the strength of your grip to prove that with the patches, the grip in the injured arm was equal and opposite to the grip strength in the unaffected arm. So that was a very dramatic result, which really addressed 3 modalities of function. It was the strength, the pain, and then the 2-point discrimination, all addressed virtually instantaneously with the Icewave patches. So that was a nice clinical write-up, and that is now available in the literature, and it actually found its way into our studies last year. Here's one a little bit more recently that took more time. Sorry if these images are a little gory. I think Lifewavers can handle that, but here is a infected pacemaker pocket. So
I think I was mute before, so I'm gonna have to repeat that. Okay, this picture I'm going to blur because it's a wound. I forgot to prepare for it, so joke's on me. Joke's on me all day today. Phototherapy to facilitate wound healing following pacemaker infection, a promising tool to improve outcomes. Oh yeah, it's so promising. Just as all the disciplines of internal medication get debunked. I mean, the media might have to go underground, and we won't be able to see much from other people's videos, but we'll go down fighting. All right, so progressive wound healing from the time of extraction, and after 6 weeks of standard wound care plus phototherapy, granulation tissue is apparent at the base of the wound. Indicating a robust healing response. Scab formation was evident after 10 weeks, indicating complete closure. Healing was estimated to be 50% faster with the use of phototherapy in addition to standard care. Phototherapy was continued with progressive scar maturation during evidence at 16 weeks at a diameter of the X39 phototherapy patches, 34 millimeters. So my point is, I would have thought it would have been healed a month after. Let's keep going.
pacemaker has been removed, and because of all the debridement of infected material that had to go with that, leaves a fairly sizable crater wound, as you can see. One accepted strategy for wound healing is just to leave the wound open, and you pack it with a sterile dressing every day or every other day, and that wound will heal by secondary intention. So rather than sewing this closed, you just allow it to heal from the inside out, and that's healing by secondary intention. So with this particular patient, I gifted her with X39 patches to place next to the device every day. And so she would have her regular wound dressings, and it was visited by a nurse every other day, and was wearing X39 every day. This is an 83-year-old woman who's largely wheelchair bound. And the wound care company said they noticed 50% faster resolution in her lesion compared to standard wounds that they saw. And the lady got better appetite, her sleep apnea improved, she was feeling more energetic and mentally clear, so having a great experience. But we just had this accepted to the Journal of Innovation in Cardiac Rhythm Management. It is not yet in press, but I was just notified yesterday that this will be the citation when it does appear later this year, in December it looks like. And there we have 50% faster healing documented, and a good example of that that will appear in the clinical literature in response to X39. So that wound closed in about 6 weeks' time, and it would have taken much longer. And then you can see from where the scab formed to nice maturation of the scar, kind of at the 16-week period, just how nicely that scar is resolving. And that's kind of where we stopped the study and made our report. But I was thrilled to have that accepted. This is a PubMed indexed study, so it would appear in PubMed, and you'll be able to Google that one shortly as well. And please feel free to use this in your product demonstrations and in your approaches, attempts to influence others towards the utility of Lifewave. These will be available for everyone. And of course, the message is, if it can heal this so much faster, why would it not heal anything else so much faster? And since we're all having little internal injuries all the time, and our bodies are always trying to heal from those little struggles that are unavoidable, why not wear the patches on a regular basis so that you're always healing so much faster in response to the injuries that we're going to inevitably experience. So for me, it's just another demonstration to keep patching and to aggressively patch in the setting of a particular injury. Here's another one that I'll show you, and this one is been submitted to the Journal of Invasive Cardiac Electrophysiology, and I'm waiting to hear back on that. But here's a very, very large woman who had a pacemaker implanted here, and because it's very hard to achieve hemostasis sometimes when that's happened, has a lot of bruising around the sites, lots of swelling, lots of bruising that occurred. This is about 5 days after the device was implanted. The bandages are still on, very interested in complementary therapies. So for her, we did X39, carnosine, and glutathione on a daily basis, rotating those around the wound, moving them so they were in different places at different days, but always the combination of the three, looking for a synergistic action compared to just X39 by itself. So from this scary looking scenario to here, completely nice, very nicely healed and well on her way to being better. The time difference between those photos is, please guess, it's in point of fact 6 days. So I posted those photos on Twitter, now X, to the electrophysiology community, the community of my colleagues, and I said, gentlemen and gentlewomen, please estimate for me the healing time that you would expect in your practice between these two photos. And here is that 46 votes final result of what other electrophysiologists would have anticipated. 4 weeks was the number one estimate, but many folks thought that would take 6 weeks and even 8 weeks to heal. So when in fact the healing is only 6 days, that is a over greater than 500% acceleration in the healing time compared to what would be expected. So a very dramatic result that, appreciated by the professional community who's dealing with these unfortunate things more often than they would like, and really a very convincing example of the synergy that can occur when you apply multiple patches of different types in combination to address a particular problem. So dramatic wound healing with that combination of patches in a way that was far above and beyond what my professional community would have anticipated without that technology. So that's a very exciting report, and I'm hoping that one will appear in the literature shortly and be available to all of us to reveal as well. And I'll show these as by way of background at American Heart Association during that poster presentation. Moving on to the topic of the study at hand, and that is the effect of carnosine on heart function. Let's talk a little bit about carnosine. So this is a figure from a article that's in the medical literature of all the things that carnosine can accomplish. So what is carnosine? Carnosine is a very simple protein. It's the combination of 2 amino acids, so a very small protein that is diffused throughout the body. And carnosine is involved in all sorts of functions in the body. It is involved in energy metabolism, facilitating mitochondrial function. It modulates the immune system. It protects you against toxicity from different toxic proteins in the body. It prevents cancer tumor cells. It increases tumor senescence, so it tends to turn to.
I'm sorry, what did you just say? It decreases cancer? I was sneezy then. I think I'm going to stop. It's the next day. The world hasn't been destroyed. That's good. That's what it felt like with 9/11 for me too. That was the first year of teaching, where I was teaching, and I was like, that same day, I was like, damn, the world is ending, and I am playing bocce, because that's what I was doing on the afternoon of that. Yeah, the world is ending, and I'm making a YouTube video. That's okay. Resistance forever. This afternoon, I am going to attend a Zoom meeting for the Greens Party in my local area, which I joined about a month ago, and I'm very happy to be part of the resistance. My demographic is so dangerous, so damaging, but not as bad as white men. White, uneducated, Christian, older men. It's gonna be good when they die. It's gonna be real good when they die. Anyway, we're back here. Oh, at my thumb. Yeah, I'm gonna have a snack, and we're gonna keep listening to this. Ooh, got it. Okay. Wilbur and Murphy are out at the moment, so if I flinch, that's what that is. Okay.
This is a figure from a article that's in the medical literature of all the things that carnosine can accomplish. So what is carnosine? Carnosine is a very simple protein. It's the combination of 2 amino acids, so a very small protein that is diffused throughout the body. And carnosine is involved in all sorts of functions in the body. It is involved in energy metabolism, facilitating mitochondrial function. It modulates the immune system. It protects you against toxicity from different toxic proteins in the body. It prevents cancer tumor cells. It increases tumor senescence, so it tends to turn tumors off. It mops up free radicals. It helps you clear heavy metals. It does tumor angiogenesis, rejuvenation of senescent proteins. All of these things are recognized to be accomplished by this very important protein in our molecule that is known as carnosine.
Okay, but how effective is the patch at delivering carnosine? That's what I'd like to know. And the point is, he's a doctor saying that all these things are going to be better because of the patch. Dangerous.
We have one of the Lifewave patches is of course named carnosine, and that patch will rev up the activity of this carnosine molecule, which has all of these effects throughout the body. So no wonder with carnosine that we talk about anti-cancer effects, again, unproven that the patch can do it, but we know this molecule is involved in that. Suppression of tumors, improvement in energy, reduction of inflammation, chelation of heavy metals and detox. We can think that we're helping our bodies accomplish all of these things by enhancing the activity of the carnosine that's already in our bodies. Again, we don't have to supplement on this, scoop it onto our cereal or what have you. It's in our bodies. We're simply enhancing the activity of that endogenous compound. So this would be the intro for the folks at American Heart. There is a field in cardiology called cardiac optogenetics. It's basic science, but what they're trying to do is they're trying to genetically modify cells in the body to express light-sensitive proteins, like you might find in a firefly or in a glowfish. And then once you've done that, perhaps you could artificially shine light into the body to activate those proteins and accomplish physiologic effects. So this is very much the basic science.
What's going on? I don't know what's going on. Why didn't they edit this part?
Stage of investigation, but it is a field in cardiology that most heart rhythm specialists at least know about because there are sessions about this topic at our annual meetings. So my jumping off spot for Lifewave is to say, hey, we know that optogenetics is a real thing. Well, here we have a very interesting technology that says you already have light sensitive proteins in your body. Your body is a flashlight. It generates its own light. We can use your own light to activate the light sensitive proteins that are already in your body in a way that has beneficial biologic effects. So why not try it? So we know the Lifewave patches, they're very natural. They can contain a plant-based amino acid, some oxygen, some sugar, some salt, other natural organic compounds that forms a crystal that's in the patch that is able to reflect back light of certain frequencies. So again, nothing's going into your body. You are taking advantage of the light that your body emits to reflect back into the body, which then is able to activate light-sensitive proteins and that are already in your body in a way that can influence your metabolic activity for health benefits. So Lifewave is a subset of the developing field of cardiac optogenetics. And for me, that makes it a very legitimate tool and places it within the field of basic science cardiology very nicely. And that's the approach I would use to talk to the folks at American Heart and to discuss with my colleagues, for example. So our hypothesis is that a cutaneous phototherapy device known to stimulate carnosine activity may enhance myocardial performance as determined by echocardiographic indices of heart function. So in cardiology, we perform ultrasounds of the heart all the time. Ultrasounds are a great study because they give you a tremendous amount of information and there's no radiation that's imparted to the patient. It's all ultrasound energy like we use for babies, for example. So for research purposes, we recruited healthy volunteers, 32 subjects, age 42 to 85, nice blend of.
Yeah, but are these Lifewave people? That's what I'd like to know. Because they're not exactly impartial people, you know? And the echocardiogram. So if they've got actual science here, and look, I'm trying to find information about how effective it does, like, hang on, 4212. You targeted pulses of light to stimulate optically sensitive proteins in the heart, influencing cellular physiology with unprecedented spatio-temporal resolution. How effective is it of actually increasing the carnosine? And can you measure that? Because how do you measure carnosine?
32 subjects, age 42 to 85, nice blend of male and female. And for the purposes of research, we would plaster carnosine patches over the heart. So over your left thorax here, where we know that the heart sits, wrapping right around into the axilla because a lot of the heart is deep in your body. We want to completely surround that organ and flood the organ with carnosine activation to the full extent that it was possible. Again, for the purposes of research, you don't have to do this at home, and I'm not sure it'd be wise to anyway, but we wanted to really see if we could elicit a meaningful biologic effect.
Why would you need so many? I don't understand why you would need so many. You know, doesn't it, or maybe make one big patch
This seems, if you've got 10 to 14 and you get 34 a month, you're going through that, what, in a day, in 2 days, 2 to 3 days? Jesus. Yeah.
By saturating the carnosine mechanism. So then we would perform an echocardiogram of the heart, ultrasound of the heart, measuring the function, the tissue velocities, rates of blood flow across the valves, both at baseline, and then again 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes after applying the patches. So here's a representative example of a test subject, and those are all carnosine patches from the sternum right around to the axilla. Everything there is carnosine. And I can tell you about the story about how we came to this protocol. As well. At first it was like, we're going to use energy enhancers everywhere. Let's put on some Eon, let's put on some X39, and the heart function actually went down, and had to think about that for a long time. But what I think happened is that the patches were relaxing all of the peripheral vasculature. And when the peripheral vasculature all relaxes, the heart at rest says, I don't have to work as hard to maintain this. So it actually was beating a little bit less forcefully because we had lowered all of the peripheral resistance. So that's probably what was going on in those studies. It's more exciting when you can improve the function of the heart. And that switched us to finally discovering this carnosine protocol where we're saying we're just going to use one patch. It's going to be carnosine. It's going to be lots of carnosine. It's going to be right around the heart. And let's see what change that has. So here's a representative measure, and I'll show you videos of this in a sec, but these are the kinds of measurements. This is your left ventricle, the main pumping chamber of your heart, your right ventricle, right atrium, left atrium.
For some of this, most of this part. So if there is anybody who understands this, that'd be great. Amy, I'm going to send this to DC and Amy because, yeah, I'd like to know how it works. Because in the research that I'm doing on the other, just this basic research right now. What is he using against? Sorry, this is 4432. Echocardiogram. It increases the activity of carnosine, an endogenous dipeptide involved in energy metabolism for muscle tissue. The hypothesis is a cutaneous phototherapy of the glycine to stimulate carnosine. So it doesn't increase carnosine. You don't get more carnosine. It stimulates the activity, which may increase myocardial performance as determined by echocardiographic indices of heart function. Right. So it's about the activity.
Heart all the time. Ultrasounds are a great study because they give you a tremendous amount of information and there's no radiation kinds of measurements. This is your left ventricle, the main pumping chamber of your heart, your right ventricle.
Okay, so carnosine levels can be associated. Okay, can you have too much carnosine? Carnosine levels. So a non-invasive method for measuring carnosine in skeletal muscle is a magnetic resonance spectroscopy. Someone's known. High performance liquid tandem mass spectro magnetic resonance. So in an MRI, carnosine is a dipeptide. It's most abundant in skeletal muscle and levels in the heart. Let's do in the heart. And physiological roles of carnosine in myocardial function. What does carnosine do for the heart? Carnosine is a regulator of intracellular calcium and contractility in cardiac muscles. And consumption of carnosine enhances the recovery of fatigue and prevents chronic disease such as diabetes, atherosclerosis, and cognitive impairment. So carnosine could perform important yet different roles within healthy and or diseased hearts. Findings suggest that carnosine could improve calcium handling and therefore muscle contractility in a healthy model and oxidative stress, myocardial injury markers, and morphological and histological parameters in a disease model. The translation of these findings into humans is, however, lacking, and considerable future work is required in this regard to determine whether carnosine has therapeutic potential. Okay, so emerging evidence has highlighted a promising effect of carnosine on healthy and diseased cardiovascular systems. This growing research suggests that physiological roles of carnosine in myocardial tissue could involve the regulation, I've already said that,
quenching of reactive oxygen species, detoxification of reactive aldehydes, chelation. Oh, okay, so that's that picture that was already up there. Do you think that they're borrowing some of this information and trying to make it work for the patches? That's what a lot of them do. Did I have to say it that obnoxiously though? Hopefully I can get somebody who is smarter than me. That's almost like a lot of people. To yeah, to weigh in on this, because look, I'm doing a Bachelor of Psychology at the moment, which I need to check my due dates because I'm sure that I've missed something. 7th or the 11th. I've got something due on the 12th, I think, so I better have a look at that. And hang on, let's go to conclusions. I hate reading scientific reports. It's official. I hate it. Carnosine has the potential to improve has the potential, you see. Although there's still a significant gap in our understanding and application. More research is needed. Practical recommendations for B-alanine supplementation cannot yet be given concerning myocardial function and health. Okay, I think that's a good summary. Oh, I don't know if you can see this. God damn it. I've been scrolling the whole time. And then I don't know that this is the best way to measure it either. How do you measure EF? EF. I don't know what EF stands for. Maybe he says it. All right, well, we'll get back to it.
Right atrium, left atrium, and we measure the squeeze function, so how much the main pumping chamber collapses per heartbeat. Here, 70%. Very nice and normal. Different measures, 77% with a different measurement technique. Then apply the carnosine patches, and 30 minutes later, that 70% has gone up to 78%, and this 77% up to 82%. So wow, the heart was in fact making a more vigorous squeeze in the presence of the carnosine patches. Here is one of our healthy volunteers. This is a 54-year-old woman, and I'll try to run these movies side by side so you can compare them. But there you have the function at baseline and in the presence of carnosine. That's a video of the left ventricle. So that cavity is the left ventricle, and the amount that it empties will tell you is the overall squeeze function. So I think you can see on the carnosine where some white, very echo-intensive structures on the side of the heart come much closer to each other. They're almost touching in the presence of carnosine, whereas they never quite get that close on our baseline images. And this is a 70-year-old man, and we measured a very large change for him from 62% up to 76%. That's a 14% change in his overall ejection fraction. And that is an astonishing result. Across 30 subjects, we could claim 6 to 8% improvement on average in ejection fraction, but some individuals were much greater than that. And very significant for cardiology in that 55% is the low end of normal. So if you're 55%, you're still normal. If your ejection fraction is as low as 35%, it's like you're going to die and we need to implant a defibrillator because your risk of sudden cardiac death justifies that you live the rest of your life with a defibrillator to protect you. So that's a 20-point spread, 35 to 55. And we use lots of drugs, lots of intervention, pharmaceuticals to try to tease up heart.
Yeah, but when you're not talking about 20%, you said that 14. I think this is the highest one. And if they're already 62, well, that's healthy. That's the point. Is it about being healthier? I don't know. And the percentages seem small,
function when it's low, and every gain that we make is significant. Did you get it up by 5%? Did you get it up by 10%? It means everything to somebody in terms of their symptoms, in terms of their longevity. So to have that be your daily routine of titrating drugs for heart failure, for example, to then come in and see this result where we put stickers on your chest, no drugs or chemicals go into your body, and after 30 minutes, the pump function of your heart has gone up by 14%, and it's visibly obvious that that's the case. That result.
32. Hang on, how many people did they say? 32 people is not a good sample size. It's a beginning, Like you need a lot more. And this is just one person. If it was more than one person, they'd be showing us, Could the placebo effect still be in effect here? Is this like, because when they were talking about it before, like that, the thing with the the movement of the cerebral fluid. Cerebral something, spinal fluid. Shoot. The one where we were talking about freaking yoga. Is this just a calming effect? Is that what's going to help? You know, is that what really we're talking about here? He's just using all of the scientific sort of like words and what our physiology actually does when it is in a state of chilling out, you know. P.S. This is not the shirt I was wearing yesterday. I've got 2 shirts that have skeletons and Ouija boards on them. And the other one's black. This is like dark grey. I washed my hair last night. That's why it's like fluffy. I need to straighten it as well. But it's getting longer. I want to do like what I did with JoJo's hair. Because I like that. That looked nice.
Is astonishing. It's just astonishing. And that's the interest for American Heart Association. So that will be really fun to see how it's received in that particular forum. And of course, we made some average measurements, some statistical significance to prove that result overall. And again, we could claim 6 to 8% on average, because some people had very small responses, kind of 2 to 3%, whereas other ones had these dramatic results that you could appreciate. I kind of skipped over this slide, but this is another example of from a 54-year-old woman, for example, one of our volunteers. Are you guys seeing this error message on the screen?
All I see on the screen is someone drew a green line on the right-hand side of your screen, and I don't know how to get that off of there.
You don't see this low system reinforcements may affect audio quality? There, I think I'm killing it. No, so, sorry, this is the 70-year-old man. That's the one I showed you. Somehow, this is our 54-year-old gal. Just another example. The echo images are a little bit clearer here, but just look at the squeeze function of the baseline image compared.
I'm sorry, but this looks like a fucking triangle. Like, it might make sense to cardiologists or people in the medical careers, what's the word? The medical industry? Fucking hell. But I can see now this, which I didn't see before, is poorly framed on his behalf. He should have done it as like a video, like measured them, put them together on a video, just have one video rather than 2 images that you're trying to play at the same time, because PowerPoint's going, ouchie. Yeah, I don't know what I'm looking at really. It's weird.
Compared to the carnosine image. You know, which heart looks more vigorous to you? And again, we measured her when we made all the technical measurements, kind of a 12% increase. But there, for me, it's readily apparent that the squeeze function, I thought I had these on continuous loop, but there you can see them together. You know, much more impressive in the carnosine arm of the study. Just remarkable. I mean, those pictures are 30 minutes apart in the same person. They haven't taken any medication. They haven't eaten. They haven't worked out. All they've done is laid there on the echo table. They've done nothing between these 2 studies except have these patches applied over their heart. So yeah, really just really a very compelling result with a whole host of implications for the field of cardiology. And so there's some of our average measurements. A few other things that we could measure is when the heart contracts, you can also measure with Doppler and echo the velocity of the muscle contraction. So does the muscle actually squeeze faster in the presence of the carnosine than at baseline? And we proved that, yes, that was the case along the interventricular septum, which separates the 2 major pumping chambers. So another echocardiographic index of function, you know, here the tissue is moving at 6.5 centimeters per second at baseline, and then up to 7.31 centimeters per second in the presence of carnosine. So a nice improvement there. And then you think, well, if the tissue is contracting faster and if it's squeezing more, then you would expect the rates of blood flow through the heart to also be faster. And indeed, they were also faster. So here we can measure the rates of blood flow across the heart valves as the blood makes its way through that organ, for example. Whether that was in between the top and the bottom chambers or exiting out of the bottom chambers, we can measure the velocity of the actual blood flow crossing those valve structures before and after the application of the carnosine patches. noticing a statistically significant increase in blood flow velocities, which corroborates the measure.
So what he's doing here, I don't think this, I know that there are going to be reps that use this, and they're going to say things like, see how it goes from 60% to 72%? That's good. That's good. Without really understanding what it is, what it means. Remember, the selection size is 32, like the subject. That's not a big enough thing for, a scientific study. And this is just the beginning. This is what you present to do a real study. Because it does present some positive results. And so this is what you present to get your funding and things like that. Say, okay, can I do this with a bigger group, with a blind, double blind study, all that sort of shit. Because he's not putting it into layman's terms. It's like, what does it mean? What does it mean? Because I don't know what it means. I have no fucking idea. And I don't know whether to say it's good or bad. And the fact that he's not putting it into layman's terms for the people, and even Dr. Stacey, the host, isn't asking, how does a rep talk about this to sell the product? Because that's what it's about, sell the garment. You want to sell this product, don't you? So giving your reps something that they can use from this, that they can use, because they can't repeat all this shit, They can't talk about cardiology from a point of being the expert. They can show this, but it's not empowering your workforce. And it's like anything where they go, well, you have to try the product to sell it. No, I think you'll find that pharmaceutical salespeople sell a lot of drugs that they've never tried because they don't need to. But guess what they have behind them? Research that's been passed into their vernacular so that they can sell it to other people using their expertise as a salesperson, but using layman's terms to translate what's in the research to what that means to the average person. And that's what he's not doing here. So I think that is, I think it's irresponsible to just be putting it out there without any sort of like, this is what this means. It means this. Because obviously there's positives here. I don't think he's, like, obviously I think he's doing this to sell it. But he's only been using it for the past year. Yes, he's an internal medicine doctor. But you're not going to go in on something that it might wreck your entire reputation, right? Or what you would think would wreck your entire reputation. So he's obviously has some belief about this, and like finding a way to make it work for people is really important. That's what I'm trying to say, I guess, in 100 different words there, Tish. Okay, well, let's keep going. Hey,
of the left ventricular ejection fraction, which are so powerful. So lots of blah blah for our friends at American Heart Association. 8% improvement in ejection fraction, 6 to 8% improvement overall with changes in tissue velocity and blood flow velocity. So we have a self-powered wearable device that enhances myocardial function and overall myocardial performance and overall heart function. And this indeed represents.
So self-powered wearable phototherapy devices may enhance myocardial performance and overall heart function. Your conclusion is that they may enhance it? Wouldn't you want to... such technologies represent a promising therapy for congestive heart failure. God, you're going to be hearing people repeat that.
Sorry, unbelievable. Compelling therapy perhaps for congestive heart failure at a future date. So I've done a lot of talking. Just to summarize what we've talked about here, we talked about biofield modulation. We saw that the Alavita patch can give you a cephalad or upwards, headwards shift in your dominant expression of energy, achieving overall chakra rebalance, increase your...
I think if he wants to be taken seriously here, he should take that off. Don't talk about chakras. I think he could, just go with the wound healing and the enhanced cardiac function, because that's a little bit more woo-woo, I think that's where it starts to get a little bit sus.
Rates of vibration of the physiologic systems within your body while imposing an overall energetic stability for your overall expression, arising from the human aura, for example. And then we looked at some wound healing examples that were very compelling. We saw improved strength, mobility, and sensation with the Icewave patch in the setting of pain and some tissue injury, 50% faster wound healing with the presence of X39 alone, and up to 500% faster healing with the combination of X39, carnosine, and glutathione. So very dramatic changes in healing rates, which is exciting. And then for our main event, the enhanced cardiac function brought about by the carnosine patches with an overall improvement of the left ventricular ejection fraction of 68%, a statistically significant result in a large cohort of individuals across both genders and a large age spectrum. And with that, improvements in tissue velocity and in mitral inflow, blood flow velocities through the heart. So that's our research findings to date. Really exciting and so much fun, and looking forward to what comes next and how that's received by my colleagues at American Heart later next month.
Fantastic. I was just getting ready to ask you, can you please put back up your contact information? So everyone was asking that in the chat. Thank you. Wow. Dr. Kneller, this information.
It's pretty cool, right?
Oh my gosh. The text I'm getting, the chat messages, the private messages in the chat. It is a game changer. It absolutely.
That's really concerning because did they really understand what was happening? I'm going to assume that a lot of them are just like me and they're like, but he's saying, it's better for your heart. That's what people are going to say. Dangerous.
Is a game changer for so many people. So I know we have a few minutes left, but I have a couple questions just to make sure that, people understand. So for, let's say an everyday purpose of using the patches, how many patches would someone use of the X39, of the carnosine, of glutathione, or anything? How many would they use?
I would say up to 2 of the same kind per day. Okay. That would kind of be.
Again, I question how you would need, like, is it going to supercharge? I don't understand how you need more. And it's just, if your body's going to produce it, it's going to be stimulated by that one patch. And if it doesn't, then improve the patches so that it gets the right amount that they want,
Yes, being assured that you're going to have a true physiologic response.
And how long would they wear those patches? Duration? How many months?
Well, if you were a heart patient, not my official advice, but I would start patching and I would go into my next echocardiogram wearing my patches.
Because then that's not the natural state of your heart, though, then. And he just used all of his knowledge to give this whole thing and then said, this is not my professional advice. And then went on to give advice. Far out. That is really, really irresponsible. Damn.
Typically, in cardiology, we think in terms of 3-month intervals. If you change a drug.
I'm sorry, are you speaking as a cardiologist again? You just said, this isn't my professional, but I'm going to give you advice as a professional, but this is not You want to make your fucking mind up? You're representing yourself as a cardiologist who's recommending these. God, he needs to be referred.
Expected to influence heart function. For example, we would typically say, let's go on it for 3 months and then repeat your echo and see if we see a durable improvement. Okay. And I think those timelines for getting a sustainable, meaningful benefit are still going to be relevant.
Okay, so 90 days. So you're saying we could use 1 to 2 of the X39s, of the carnosine, and you would say 90 days before you went back and had it retested.
Yeah, and that's also corresponds to what your insurance will pay for. So probably what your doctor's office is willing to do or able to do. So change in therapy and a repeat echo at 3 months is kind of what the insurance companies look for. So to have your insurance pay for that measurement with your local doc or cardiology office, it's probably going to be what it requires.
Okay. And what about like with heart racing? If their heart rate, if they feel like their heart rate is increasing, what would you recommend for that? Because I hear that from time to time. I felt like my heart was racing a little bit or my heart rate went up. What would explain that?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
There's a way to measure it. If you feel like your heart rate is increasing, that's not really good. Like, test your heart rate, for fuck's sake, before you feel like. And, that's going to happen if you're doing any cardio exercise. See what he says here.
So we're getting into, all the arrhythmias, whether it's an inappropriate sinus tachycardia. We've seen lots of that post-COVID, for example. Or are you flipping your rhythm? Are you going into atrial fibrillation or an SVT, or is there something else going on?
Mm-hmm.
I would like to think that the patches are going to improve heart health in a way that does stabilize rhythms over time.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a research result to really demonstrate that.
I would like to think that we use a patch for that, but there's no research. But you'd like to think about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Although I think it would be very interesting.
Well, maybe that's
It's
something
going to be hard to really accurately predict what happens to any one rhythm in an individual
Right.
based on what we know right now.
And maybe that's something you and David could get into when you have your conversation on the studies.
Oh yeah, it'd be so exciting.
I know. So
Mhm.
I want everyone to know that Dr. Kneller's information is up here. If you have further questions, like he said, his natural heart doctor, that information is for his telehealth. And then the Lakeside Heart and Vascular Center is a one-time in-person visit. And then after that, it can happen online as well. So if you, they can contact you through either of these facilities. Is that correct?
If you want a formal meeting and evaluation, those are both appropriate. If you'd like to email me and just ask questions and stuff informally, I'm very open to that as well. I want to be a part of this community and available to people. But if you'd like a formal eval, one of these two channels.
Do you want to be available to people but get paid? I wouldn't want to be using my expertise and not getting paid, You're a cardiologist. Like, unless the way that you get paid with him is you order through him or you join his team. Because, again, this person is selling these things. Does he have a vested interest in them being successful? Abso-fucking-lutely. And that makes it just a little bit, not a little bit, a lot of bit suspicious.
Way to go. Otherwise, questions and comments, I'm happy to answer emails and just connect with people individually.
Well, that's fantastic and very generous for you to offer that. But you are a cardiologist and you're very busy. And so if someone does have heart issues or conditions, I highly recommend you actually do a formal evaluation and have him take a look at what's going on a much grander scope, minus, versus just sending a quick email and expecting a quick answer without a full evaluation. I know there's a lot to someone's health and what's going on with them and their heart and many other things as well. So definitely reach out to one of his two facilities and get yourself an appointment. That's just my opinion because I feel like you were very valuable. The knowledge you just shared with us tonight was absolutely priceless. He did put his email in the comments, which is so kind and generous, and I really appreciate that. So thank you so much for taking the time to be here tonight to share all of your findings with everyone. This is just absolutely just so valuable. And I know this is going to help so many people. So Dr. Kneller, do you have any closing words or comments or things that you would like to share as we wrap this up?
Well, thank you, Stacy, for having me on your prestigious podcast with your very large audience. And I'm thankful to the Evolve team for helping us connect and getting me on your podcast. So I'm very grateful to you and to Jeff Pattison and the others in Team Evolve who have been so supportive of everything that we're doing. They rounded up a bunch of these volunteers for us. A lot of the people you saw here were our Lifewave users. And
there you go. The volunteers are Lifewave users. That's not generally how things are done. Okay, you need impartial people. Yeah.
At least known to the members of Evolve, and it's really been great having a team surrounding you to be supportive. So I'm grateful all the way through. And yeah, thank you again for having me, Dr. Stacy, and congratulations on your wonderful weekly show.
Thank you so much. So much. Thank you all. And I will have this up.
Is that a love heart? Weird.
YouTube channel here very shortly. Thank you, Dr. Kneller. Everyone have a fantastic evening. We look forward to seeing you again soon.
Cool.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
So, to conclude, I don't like it. It sucks. Yeah. I think it's bad when somebody with genuine work as a cardiologist, how bad are people doing in America that a cardiologist has to start pimping for fucking Lifewave? All right. I'm going to leave it there because it's going to be a long video anyway. Thanks for being with me. Even though I'm agnostic, let's pray for a better everything. Pray for a better everything. There you go. That's good. If you can like and subscribe, I would appreciate that. Yeah, get the word out, and we'll keep beating the drum about Lifewave. All right now, bye-bye.